Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Sarah Lester. I'm the very proud director of the Maplewood Memorial Library. After years of careful planning, we are very excited to share the final designs for the new Maplewood Library. For those of you who are wondering what's going on Baker Street, we have just completed extensive asbestos abatement of the entire building. This included the original windows, hence the plywood coverings. The good news is that we now have a building ready for construction. Sage & Coombe Architects has completed the construction documents, and the bid documents are now down in Trenton for review and approval by the State Comptroller's Office. Once the Comptroller approves the bid package, we will advertise the bid for general contractor, award the contract, break ground this summer, and 2 years from now, we will have an incredible library. None of this would be possible without our tremendous library staff, as well as the Maplewood Library Board of Trustees, led by Kate McCaffrey, and fellow board members, Robert Marchman, Shannon Cuddle, David Humer, Marianne Ezel, Deborah Purdon, Fan Winston, Jennifer Latimer, and Deputy Mayor Vic DeLuca, who has championed this project from day one. The library board has worked very closely with the library building committee, as well as Laura Nile and the Friends of the Library, and leading our Writing a New Story campaign and all private donations for the library, the Maplewood Library Foundation, led by the Honorable Ben Cohen. The Maplewood Township Committee, Mayor Daffis and former Mayor McGee has supported our library and this project since the beginning, and the expertise of the Maplewood Township staff, led by Jerry Jimes, including the Township Finance, Engineering, Public Works, Community Development, and Fire Department staff, have made this project even stronger. In 2016, the Library Board of Trustees selected Sage & Coombe Architects in an extremely competitive process that brought in applications from 39 top-notch firms in the New York region. For the past 5 years, we've been very fortunate to work with Jennifer Sage, Peter Coombe, Christina Draghi, Charlotte Page, David Hess, and the Sage & Coombe team. Many of you have had the opportunity to meet them during focus groups and meetings throughout the design process. So let's look at the designs and build a new library. The agenda tonight is as follows. Jennifer Sage of Sage & Coombe Architects will present the final designs and introduce her team. This will be followed by a Q&A period, so please put your questions in the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen, and I will field questions after Jennifer's presentation. We will then turn it over to Ben Cohen, president of the Maplewood Library Foundation, and end the program with a short video from the Library Foundation. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Jennifer Sage of Sage & Coombe Architects.
Thank you very much, Sarah. While we move into the full screen, I should just let everybody know who's on the call with us tonight. From our team. Thanks very much, Charlotte. We've got representatives from MKW Landscape who will be speaking later, Al Juba and Ted Aratakis, John Mongelli from Kohler Ronan, our brilliant MEP engineers, Bill Bosca from Langen, our civil engineers, and possibly Jared Green if he can make it, Lee Brandt, a native Maplewoodian, who is our lighting designer from HLB Lighting, Patricia Scanlon from Long & Lindsay, our acoustical consultant, and Christina and Charlotte and everybody else on our team. Unfortunately, Peter couldn't be here, but we'll play him the recording. So welcome everybody. This is a very tight program, so I'm going to move fairly fast and we're going to save that time for questions and answers. So welcome to the library. This is the inner lobby with a view towards the circulation and the staff desk. We're very excited to be here and thank you very much. And as Sarah mentioned, and I won't read the list again, but we really could not be here without the help of everybody on this list, from the building committee through Epic Management. We've worked tirelessly with everybody, or they've worked tirelessly with us to make this happen, as well as meeting with all the civic groups throughout this process. We've learned a lot about Maplewood. People have been extremely generous with their time. And we've, one thing that's not on the list is sort of the focus groups we've done with the teens and the kids, which has been really, really fun, and some of the seniors. But it's been a really enjoyable process and we're anxious to get going into construction. So to recap a little bit of what Sarah said, the process started a long time ago in 2010. We joined in 2016 and we've worked with the library and the township through the bond issue and COVID. It's been a long couple of years for all of us. And we're very excited that we're now in 2022 and we're about to bid the project and open it in 2024. So with that said, a little history. I just want to remind you, some of you may have seen this slide, some of you may know this by heart. There's the existing library under construction on the right in the green circle. This is obviously a hard hat tour from then. That's the original entrance with the stacks on the left. And there it is again in the top in 1956. But in 69, it was decided to enlarge the library, and it pretty much doubled in size at that point. And you can see where the green dot was. That's where the entrance used to be. The entrance was centered in this much sort of larger footprint of a building. Oops. Oh my gosh. Oh, sorry. And what we've done as part of this effort is to recenter that entrance so that we think that original entrance was in the right place. It allowed you to slip in alongside what is now the community room on the left and have a clear view into the park on the straight ahead. And we think that's really the public face of this building. It's a big, generous entrance on Baker Street, and it is straddled by the public's face of the building, the community room on the left and the stair and children's room on the right. So the 21st century library, the mission really hasn't changed in what a library is. Apart from public libraries, there aren't many places in a town which are open to all comers, free of charge, with heating and no one at the door to check your identity. Seems particularly relevant right now in this moment. So what are the elements of a library then and now? Books, librarian, storage, display, reading areas, specialized reading room, circulation desk, card catalog, still sort of, stacks, yes, definitely in Maplewood, technology, even now, community spaces, absolutely in Maplewood. So why a new library? Well, because it's been a long time since the last work was done. That was 1969, and there's new work to do. So the number of card holders in the library has been increasing steadily since 1969. On average, 75 new library cards are issued every month. And more than 20,000 Maplewoodians have library cards, which is a kind of astounding number. We know from meeting with you and seeing the library that you are book lovers, and we respect that, we appreciate that, and we share that love. And we know that you solve some of those problems by being a part of Buckles. That represents the Buckles collection that you take advantage of to broaden your book collection. But we also know, and we've all faced this, that there is a new world out there. It is the proverbial elephant in the room, and that's about digital technology. 10% of Maplewood families do not have internet access, and that's a significant number, and this library has really served them very well. 165 public computer sessions per day in 2019. This is obviously pre-COVID, probably more, and 226 wireless connections. So that's an astounding service the library provides. Dr. Freud would never recognize the library. He doesn't see it as his, when he analyzed it, he said, you don't seem like your traditional self. But the truth is that the library provides internet services, story times, after-school programs, ESL classes, computer and technology classes, maker spaces, STEM programming, local history and archive space, display space for local artists, performances, lectures, talks, job search workshops, it all. It really is an essential facility. So how we got there, or how we got here, I guess is the word. It kind of amazes me to think, and many of you were here with us at that night, it was 5 years ago, we gave you an assignment and we said, please join us in what was then the Maplewood room down in the cellar, which sadly does not exist, or maybe happily does not exist anymore, and will soon be replaced. And at that meeting, we gave you an assignment. We gave you all the program pieces that we wanted you to locate and study. And you were extremely helpful. And it wasn't just the groups that we were meeting, we met all sorts of new people that night. And you did all your work. And what was really amazing is that you essentially agreed. I mean, and it's an amazing thing when you get a group of people you don't know, half of them don't know each other, and they all come up with the same conclusions, which is that the top priority is books. Okay, we know that. But we also need more meeting rooms. stronger connections to the park, more electrical and data outlets. We know the library served very well in Superstorm Sandy. Outdoor reading spaces, local arts throughout, sustainability, and on down the line. And we hope we've met all these expectations in this new building. So the 21st century library, then and now, so then or now, I mean, as it's been, it was about 23,000 square feet. It's now a third larger. And the easy way to describe that is by the addition of the second floor. So again, there's 1956 with the original entrance. There's 1969 where the entrance slid over to the right and the size of the building was doubled laterally. There's 2022 where it slides back to its original position and we cut the roof off. And there's 2024 with the new second floor, a third more square footage, which is very exciting. And there's the new building. And I will say that the important thing about this part of the, about this piece of the building is that it has two faces. You could sort of liken it to a tale of two cities, but I think of it as a sort of public face and a private face. One is the face that faces Baker Street, which is where all the smaller spaces are against that street facade. It's the quiet study rooms, the meeting rooms, the offices, the stair, the elevator, the restrooms, all the sort of nuts and bolts of the building that have to be. But the sort of public parts of the Baker Street facade really are, again, the community room out of the basement, which is the formerly the Maplewood room. And that's right on the left where the current stacks are. The big entrance, which really brings you not only into the building, but also back out to the park, if that's where your path is taking you, but certainly connects the building to the park. And then the stair, which is over here, you can see it. This for us is a big piece of the program because we really want people to take the stair. It's part of being a healthy building. And we think that that's a feature that the current library has never had been able to explore. And we think it's a big piece, especially as we add this second floor. We don't want people taking the elevator unless they really have to. On the other side, its other face is the building that faces the park. And for that, it's a much more park facing building. The new reading room on the second floor is really wide open to the park. That's the on the left over here. That's the children's, well, usually the children's program room, although it has the capacity to serve any function really. And then outside seating on the terrace above off the adult reading room and down here at the park level. So it's really a building that speaks to the park on the park side and speaks to Baker Street on the sort of more utilitarian aspects of the building on the Baker Street side. And then there's a ramp that takes you into the building. You can see a little bit of it here and you'll see it again in the plan. And the reason for that is because all entries to this building are universally accessible. And we wanted everybody who comes in from the park to be able to take the same entrance. So everybody who comes from the park into the building will take this ramp and it will bring you up to that same entrance off of Baker Street and you'll be able to go through it or into the library. So taking you through the plans themselves, this is just we're showing you this series of plans really at big scale, talking about really how the program is arrayed. This is a roof plan. It shows the entrance that I just described off the park, an accessible entrance. It shows the entrance off of Baker Street. And here's an entrance and particularly an exit for when the community room is operated at night. The community room has the capacity to operate independent of the library. The roof, all of these blue rectangles, those are photovoltaic panels, solar cells, which will provide 55% of the energy needed by the library. And we're very excited about that. And we'll talk more about that as we get through this. So programmatically, some of this will seem very similar to you. You come in on the first floor and you will meet the librarians as we showed you in that picture. This is the main staff workstation. It's information, it's new materials, it's periodicals, and all the sort of immediate, you'll pick up your buckles there and all the sort of quick use pieces. You might sit down and take a look at what's new. On the far end, the children's reading zone will stay exactly where it is. The collection management staff office will stay exactly where it is. But what's really new is this new entrance off of Baker Street, and it is flanked by the community room over here on the left and that sort of main circulation desk on the right. This is the stair going up, which we expect everybody to take, and then offices, bathrooms, and an inner vestibule. And that's that space, as I said. The brick of the entry path will carry in. You can see the park beyond. It's a space which you can take a rest, meet someone. We like the idea that people will say, I'll meet you at the library. And then without even having to go up to the desk, you'll see the librarians, you'll be able to ask them questions. And down on the right, you can see the pathway to the children's room below. So people with strollers, anybody in a wheelchair will be able to get up to this level. Up at the second floor, we've got, this is all new. So we've got an expanded adult reading room on the right, a teen reading zone on the left, a reading terrace open only to adults overlooking the park, and the upper level of the forum, which is the second public space, sort of gathering space that the library has offered. The teen reading room and the adult reading room bracket the upper level of the forum, and what we're calling the local history meeting room, which is the former Durand room. So it's the sort of more special meeting room. Along Baker Street, we've got 4 meeting rooms for public access: the teen librarian, the business center, the archives, and the restrooms, elevator, and main stair going up. We've also got 2 green roofs. And of course, we've got some mechanical space, which we had to do. This building has to be there. This is a view of that teen reading room in a sort of a dusk. And you can see below the vestibule, that's the vestibule that would, where people would come in to deposit their books in the book drop. It's also the way out of the community room when it's operating at night. Also has a couple of public bathrooms. So it's a kind of multi-purpose little vestibule down there. That's the staff workstation, still with an easy access to the parking lot. And again, a little bit of a view of the park, because we're going to eliminate a lot of the obstructions that have been there before. And then down in the lower level, we have the staff lounge with direct access to their workspace above. We've got the create space, which is a new space for the library. We've got 6 meeting rooms for public access and signing up. We've got some staff offices. We've got a workspace for the friends, and otherwise a lot of storage and mechanical. So we wanted to let you give you a sense of what's in this new library as opposed to what used to be in the library. So then you had the Maplewood room. Now you have 2 public rooms. One is the forum, and one is the community room on the ground floor. The forum is both a public meeting space and a connecting stair between the first floor and the second floor. So it will be a much more informal space. You've probably seen them. A lot of libraries are doing them. Colleges are doing them. It's the way people work now in a much more informal setting. And that's an image of the community room. It's a simple, flexible space opening onto Baker Street. It's a room when it's operating at night, everybody will know something is happening. And as you come down from the town, and it'll be sort of a very exciting kind of presence on the street. We've got many more meeting rooms than you used to have now. With the bigger one is the Durand room, and then there are 2 little meeting rooms that you have now. We've got 10 meeting rooms, and that's an amazing thing. And that's one of the things we heard from everybody when we met them. That's the lower level of the forum, and you can see one of those meeting rooms at the top of the forum. So the way the forum works is it's really a space where people can bring a laptop, they can borrow a laptop from the library, they can sit with a book, someone might have come to give a small reading. It's a very flexible space, and we think that people will really flock to it and like working there. You don't have any children's program room right now, and now you'll have one. You didn't have a create space, and now you'll have one. We have, you did have some lounge seats, but we've given you many more and of a much greater variety, from couches to individual seats to seats you can sink into, and lots of seats that have that you can adjust. So it really has a huge variety of kind of what this building has for you. Group work tables, you didn't have a lot of those. We've added both for the adults and the teens and the children group work tables, Because again, that's how everybody's working now, whether you're bringing your own laptop or you're using a desktop provided by the library. Computer stations, again, you had some and you're going to have more, because now there'll be a lending capacity of the laptops that from the business center, or you can bring your own and plug in. But there will, of course, be desktops available as well. So exterior palettes, the exterior material palette, I'm just going to take you through what we have in the building right now. First exterior, then we'll talk about the interior materials. The roof is a metal roof, and the reason we've done a metal roof, besides the fact that it's extremely durable and will last forever, is because it's the best way and the ideal way to support a solar panel. And that's what your roof is covered with. And that's a very important thing to reduce energy usage, because it's providing that free service from the sun. We've got some green roofs. Down at the bottom, we've got brick paving. We've got some concrete pavers in the secondary pathways around the building. And in the middle, we've got the traditional brick of the base of the building. And then above it, we've got a lightweight cladding for the second floor, for the new second floor. So we've got a mix of board and batten, which is a natural wood material that will age over time. And we think it's a kind of a nice way to present over Baker Street. It's the more private side of that facade. And then on the other facades, we've got an aluminum and glass glazing system. And you can see there are dots here, and there's a little figure here. We have what's called a frit pattern, which is a pattern on the glass which does three things. It provides passive solar, so passive protection from solar gain without doing anything, without rolling down your shade. It limits the amount of solar gain. It helps birds to keep from flying into the building. And also, and you'll see in a minute, it gives us the opportunity to add some subliminal messaging, which we'll show you in a second. So these are just some studies of the Baker Street facade. This is the facade in winter. And you may see in the board and batten that there's one subliminal message of MML, and you'll see it here in winter. There it is in spring, and when it's a little bit clearer, different times of the day, and there it is in summer. And with that, oops, sorry. I'm going to hand this over to Lee to talk a little bit about the lighting.
Sure. So now that we can see the renderings, hi everybody, I'll turn my camera on too. You can see the finishes that Jennifer just described, and I'll talk about the lighting, so we'll kind of bounce off of each other. I will start with just in general, for all the fixtures at the library, both inside and outside, we are using LED sources, light emitting diode. That's really the only source to use anymore these days in commercial projects. So no more fluorescent or metal halide with the buzzing ballasts and all sorts of different things going on. So LED by far is letting us be really energy efficient. We are meeting all energy code requirements. The minimum life is 50,000 hours. Many of these sources have 100,000 hours. So maintenance at the earliest is 10 years, sometimes 20 years for these fixtures. So maintenance and accessibility has also been kept in mind. And when we design, we look at layers of light. Now, especially outside, we're being very cautious. All of our fixtures are downward. We are not doing very much. Everybody who's been there and seen it, we do have some wall fixtures and sconces. We are replacing those and still keeping fixtures close to the building and aimed down. It's again, good circulation light and keeping light where we need to on the sidewalks. We will definitely be highlighting that entrance. Most of the poles for the park are staying. Those are kind of owned by the city and the park, so we won't be changing any of those.
Sorry, Lee, I'm going to move you to the
Yeah,
end.
you can move to the next one, sure. Sorry, I can tell you.
Sorry. There we go.
And this just shows at least an image at night. So you can see those two sconces. We will have sconces at exits and entrances, have some at the book drop, but this talks to the park. We are being very conservative on the park side. There is not very any light fixtures that are on that reading terrace or near our step lights. So again, we don't really have any uplight or anything aimed to the night sky, really keeping the park views at night just as important as they are during the day.
Thanks, Lee. whoops, sorry. And this is what I was alluding to with the frit. This is, you have to picture these are about 1 inch or 2 high, but this is a pattern that will both help for solar gain, to resist solar gain, as well as keep the birds from flying into the building. But it also carries another message, and we're using it selectively on important walls, particularly on the stairwell that faces Baker Street, because we want people to discover Maplewood over time. And it's one of the things that people really like, the sort of different scales that they can engage a building. So here, what we are representing right now is the flora and fauna of Maplewood, both historically as birds and animals and trees, and also some of its more historic personages. So we're very excited about this project. It's both, again, in the curtain wall and also in some of the interiors. So the interior materials palette is also equally simple and durable. It's really made to be tough and cleanable and safe, and above all, sustainable. All the pathways in the building have a wood grill ceiling. You can see it up on the upper left. And the flooring similarly is wood. So you'll have wood above and wood below for all of your public pathways that surround carpeted reading areas where you'll sit and in more quiet spaces. All spaces have been treated acoustically in a variety of different methods. And in the question and answer, we can certainly have Patricia talk more about that. But and then in the interior of the building, we've got carpet in the reading areas. We've got brighter carpet in the staff spaces and the meeting rooms along Baker Street. And we've got rubber tile in the rooms that need a tougher flooring, like the create space and the program space. It's really a palette that is meant to feel calm and comfortable and kind of user-friendly, but bring a little bit of that color into the project. And there we are in the entrance, and I'm going to call Lee back to the table to talk a little bit about the ambient lighting in the reading rooms and in the public spaces.
So we're really excited to emphasize the warmth of the materials palette with our lighting fixtures. Our fixtures are what we would refer to as architectural. You can see that they're flush with the ceilings. They don't come down into the space. They're about layers of light and what we like to call volumetric light, get light on the walls, get lights on the ceiling, and make spaces feel bright and tall. We do have some nice ring pendants at the desk, help with wayfinding, help kind of identify where there's something important happening here. And quickly, I'll just mention, I won't mention on other slides about controls. I mentioned energy code. We do have to have controls for these fixtures. So almost all the fixtures in the library will dim and have that capability. They will react to available daylight, so they will not be at full when there's plenty of daylight in the space. Interior spaces like offices and restrooms will have occupancy sensors, so they will automatically have to turn off when there's nobody in the space for a certain amount of time. Outside, we'll have time clocks. So again, we're making sure not to waste any energy and be as efficient as possible.
Hold on. Thank you. The next few slides I'm going to walk you through are really the more articulated plans that key in some of the materials that we've just shown you and a little bit of the furniture that some of you have seen, certainly the staff has seen, but give you a sense of the array of the spaces. And here it's a little more architectural than the sort of big lettering that we showed you earlier. But here is the entrance where there will be that brick inner lobby that you saw. Furniture, this is the reading room with a sort of field of carpet. And then this lighter surrounding area is the wood floor with the wood ceiling above it. Children's room is carpeted, a few different colors. The community room has red chairs because Maplewood the logo is red, as is the stair, the sort of rubber tile in the stair. And the offices have a kind of a delightful plum. This makes it look a little purple, but it's plum. And the stacks are just a very simple, neutral, dark shelves and a white surround. So that's the sort of palette. We want the books to speak for themselves and the patrons, in fact. And along along the library, we have comfortable chairs to look out at the park. Whoops, sorry. And this is the frit again. We just wanted to bring it back to remind you that it's not just on the exterior on the glazing, but it's also going to help create super graphics on the doors. So it's gonna tell you that you're on the second floor or the first floor. And I can see a crowd of people decoding what leaf and what plant and what bug and what Maplewood personage is there. So there are a lot of learning opportunities there. This is a view of the children's room, and I guess I will hand this to Lee for a second, just to talk about the lighting.
Pretty fun to emphasize these nice pop-ups over the seating area with some cove light. We have some fun pendants reminiscent, making sure libraries feel fun and inviting and engaging to the children that will be in there. So you can just see all the different kind of sources in here. This is more specialized in the children's room.
Thanks. And in the children's room, we have 3 different zones, one for the little ones, which is this, one for the medium ones, and one for the older ones before they get to graduate up to the teen level on the second floor. And then on the second floor, again, there's the teen zone over here. Along the park, we have a band of chairs. We know that the adults are going to migrate over to the teen space when the teens are not there. So it's the space is designed as a flexible space that can accommodate anybody. This is the upper level of the forum, which I imagine the teens will populate when the teens are there, but that I think other events will take place. These are all the study rooms, meeting rooms, archive, teen office, the stair on the Maplewood, the Baker Street facade. And this is the adult reading room with the adult terrace over here. And the sort of simplicity of the palette. The meeting rooms will have chairs on wheels. The work tables out in the public will have chairs on what are called sleds, which are easy to pull in and out, but will not be on wheels. The tables will have power, in some cases, desktops provided by the library, and there'll be lots of comfortable seating. And then one more handoff to Lee to talk about the second floor reading room and the view of the park.
We're so excited about this beautiful space. I'm sure everyone is just as excited as I am to experience this and our raised roof and the beautiful wood trusses. So we have uplights, which blend in. They're white uplights. You can see them on the perimeter on both the left and the right side. That will uplight our roof, create a nice general layer of light to bounce back into the space. And then we have this more accent light with track fixtures to make sure we have enough light, plenty of light to read, plenty of light to stay there all day, but really take advantage of these ceiling heights.
Thanks, Lee. And finally, the lower level with the staff workspace with the direct access to the the staff lounge with the direct access to the workspace above. We've got 6 meeting rooms, the create space and other offices and bathrooms and elevator and stair below. So we do need to talk to you about sustainability as well. We know it's important to the town of Maplewood. We're going for LEED Gold. We think we should have no problem meeting it. If we can get higher, we definitely will. This is our scorecard, and we can certainly revisit that, although it's too much to walk through right now, but we're happy to talk about it with anybody, and we've got plenty of knowledgeable people on the call. We want to sort of summarize the sort of essence of what the sustainability effort has focused on. The building will use no fossil fuels. We have said many times it's an all-electric building with a photovoltaic array, i.e. solar panels. That's an enormous achievement, and it's a very forward thinking, and really Maplewood is out ahead of the pack on that one. Where the photovoltaics will provide 55% of the energy usage of the building. We're also going to meet the American Institute of Architects 2030 Challenge, which sets some very high goals for sustainability. In every respect, we've maximized energy efficiency from the envelope to the systems, from the lighting that you heard Lee talk about, to the way it will be tested before opening. We've got 30% reduced indoor water usage. We've got lots of user comfort having to, from shading to indoor air quality. We've got operable windows. And of course, we've got bird protection because we do not want the birds to fly into the wall. Then there's the subject of resilience, a focus for all of us, especially after extratropical cyclone Ida, which we all lived through, and especially Maplewood. And if you haven't seen these images, this is the library. The library took in about 5 feet of water. It was pretty horrific. I suppose you could say it took care of some of our demolition needs. Thank heavens it happened when it did, in a sense. So we already had a lot of features in the design to protect against resilience. We have a concrete pressure slab and new waterproofing. We have the site graded away from the building. We've replaced and reactivated storm drainage systems and a number of other things, including systems requirements from temporary generator connection, sump pumps, all the things you would expect when you're designing with belts and suspenders. But after Ida, the township, we met with the township, and everybody immediately said, we have to take this more seriously. We're not designing to code, we're designing way past code. So we really just have to move beyond what we have all thought was sufficient and do something much bigger. So we took all the systems that were currently designed for the lower level and we moved them above the first floor. It took an enormous effort. And what's amazing is that we actually gained program space. Everything got twisted. We took things around. Everybody kind of pushed and pulled at this. We ended up in the end with 2 extra collaborative rooms, 8 more create space workstations, and a large staff lounge. So Ida did us a little bit of good in that sense. And then with that, I will pass you to Al and Ted from MKW. I'm not sure who's speaking first, to talk about the landscape scheme, and then we'll come back and finish up right after that.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. And I'll rely on you to advance the slides. We don't have too many to go through. I'm speaking and Ted is just going to answer any questions or things I don't recall, that sort of a thing. What an incredible building, really, really great. And really happy as the landscape architects for the project. I've been working on it. You're looking at an overall landscape plan right now. Jennifer showed the site plan a little while ago, but this gives you an idea of how the building is setting within its context and the landscape interventions that we have done within here. Let's start along Baker Street, and you can see that there's a new brick paver entry with some planting along the edges of it. And again, that brick is the same brick that's used in the interior of the building. So it's this wonderful transition of outdoor and indoor that's happening. There's a new diagonal walkway from the sidewalk along Baker Street with a couple of benches along it. And then pavement going along the left side of the building, as you can see, along in here, a couple of steps, the ramp in the back of the building, as Jennifer had previously described, and then brick pavers in the sort of outdoor reading room area directly across from the bridge that goes across to the Crooked Brook, so to speak. That circuit then continues around the building on the right side of the drawing, as you can see, and it connects back to the sidewalk along Baker Street. So it's a really nice circulation system that's happening within there. We are doing new plantings that are primarily native plantings. There are new trees that are happening on the Baker Street side of the building, some new canopy trees. We are maintaining as many of the existing plantings and trees as we possibly can. And it really has worked out to be a real nice blend of outdoor and indoor as far as the project is concerned. The next slide is showing you what our plant palette is without me going into each individual plant here. We've got this really great hierarchy of plant types, canopy trees, more ornamental trees, shrub types, ground covers, perennials, seasonal types of elements that will provide sort of a changing landscape throughout the seasons, but always have some sort of a presence and are hearkening back to what the landscape is around the building. Really, I think a really nice treatment for the building itself. The next slide is taking those particular plant palette elements and setting them into context, just to show everyone how we've looked at plant selection, not only from a native standpoint, but what these plants are doing throughout the seasons. So you can see through spring, summer, and fall, we're indicating when things are in leaf, when they are flowering, when they have fall color on them. In the case of perennials, when they may be blooming. In the case of grasses, when they are persistent what they're looking like. But we're also looking at the palette during the winter too. On the left side, you can see with some dogwoods, some winterberry hollies. We've got some evergreen plant material in here as well. So there's always something that's happening here of import, really, really important, I think. And then the last slide is indicating the landscape furniture elements. Some of these we've already seen as far as the Bertoia diamond chairs, the tables at the reading terrace, the Adirondack chairs, a bench with a back, because benches with backs, of course, are great. The light poles have already been, circumferentially described, and a bike rack that we've got happening here too. So whether you're walking or cycling or taking mass transportation to the library, you're accommodated in some way. It's really, really a great experience. And I just want to put in a plug. Really, really happy to see one of the Fritt figures being Frederick Law Olmsted, also a landscape architect, of course.
Al, you weren't supposed to give that away.
Oh,
There's a prize
boy.
for that later. Thank you, though.
Okay.
So we're almost done, and we are interested in hearing all your questions and trying to answer them. One of our favorite quotes, though, is from Cicero. If you have a garden and a library, you have everything you need. And we felt that somehow when we saw that, it expressed everything that Maplewood was about. And this is really what it speaks to. The library is really opening its door to the memorial garden, and really in a way that it hasn't been able to for a long time. And so that's a very exciting thing. What a great place to read a book and just sit outside and come home from the train station and walk into the library. So that's where we are. Next steps, I guess, is the obvious thing to end with. This is the building you've seen lately. As Sarah said, it looks sort of sad that way, but actually it's a lot of progress. So all the asbestos has been removed, and so it's ready to be worked on, and that's a great thing. And with that, we'll say goodnight with Asher B. Durand. So thank you very much, and we look forward to answering, I hope, all your questions.
Thank you, Jennifer, and thank you, everyone. It's so exciting. So I'll just get going with the questions right away, and please continue to add questions, and we'll get to answering them. The first question is, will the forum be ADA compliant so those with mobility issues can use it?
Yes, there will be accessible seat area, or areas for accessible seating at the top and the bottom, and that will be, yes, that's a requirement. And can I add one thing about the accessibility issues? And that is that we have regraded, with everybody's help, the exterior of the building. So at the current building, you have to climb up stairs just to get in the door. That no longer is true. So the entrance to the building is going to feel immediately accessible, and it will be accessible. And that is a really big achievement that we've been able to make happen. So thanks.
And we're all very excited about that. And then another question, which are you keeping the redwood? And I'll just say yes, but I don't know if Jennifer, if you want to say anything else about that.
Well, I know we have an arborist, but I'm going to turn it over to Al for this one. Yes,
that's an easy question. We are most definitely keeping that redwood. That is the true redwood, Sequoia dendron, I believe is the Latin name. We also have some dawn redwoods that are in the front of the building, Metasequoia, Glyptus stroboides. Those are also being retained in the new design.
While we have you, Al, I'll do another landscape question. Will the shrubbery that exists behind the library near the river wall stay? It is a major habitat for birds.
I'm going to check with Ted on that. I think we are keeping the majority of that, are we not, Ted?
Yes, everything that's against the Crooked Brook is going to remain up against that river wall.
Because it's really outside of our work area.
Yes, we're not touching any of that.
Great, thank you. And here's another question. Will there be any electric storage on site?
In terms of the battery, I don't think we are storing right now. Ted, not Ted, John, do you want to field anything on that subject?
Sure. In regards to the photovoltaic system, that's correct, Jennifer. We are not storing any electricity on site right now. It's a significant footprint and cost, and the amount of consumption in the building right now, like you said earlier in your presentation, the photovoltaic system contributes to 50%, 55% of it. So we're not seeing much opportunity for storage as is. If we were, obviously producing more than 100%, then yes, it would be, beneficial and we would contribute back into the grid. But the current design does not have electric battery storage.
Okay, we have a question about the stacks, and this is an accessibility question. Are a third of the stacks on the bottom shelf? It is not easy to read titles that low or lean down for older people. And I guess I'll start, and then I can turn it over to you, Jennifer. But throughout the building, our stacks will be much lower than they were in the main library. So that is an accessibility, advantage so you will not have to reach as high. In our adult area, as we do now, we will do our very best to keep books off that lower shelf.
Yeah, I don't think we have anything to add to that. We're making our best effort to at universal accessibility.
Okay, and we have a couple questions about the slides, and we will have those available on our website. Okay, let's see. Okay, we have a question. What is happening with the cupola, and is the parking changing at all? So I will address we are keeping the weather vane for the building, and for parking, I'll turn that over to you, Jennifer.
I'm going to actually have Christina answer that so that people can see who Christina is. But we're not significantly adding to the parking. We have moved where's Christina? You should show your face somewhere there.
So we're adding one additional parking spot, which is an ADA accessible parking spot that is right by the entrance of the library. So you don't have to cross the driveway on the way into the library in order to get to the entrance from your car if you're in a wheelchair.
And I was just going to add that we are improving the lighting out there. That is where the pole that MKW showed. Right now, there's just a really tall street Cobra head pole out there that the staff doesn't feel very safe. So we are adding some more lower level pedestrian poles in the parking lot. So there'll be better lighting out there.
Okay, we have a question about the outside furniture and whether it will remain outside at all time.
I think our assumption is that the library is not going to have the capacity to bring it in and out all the time. So we've tried to pick things that are not likely to travel anyplace. Obviously, up on the upper terrace, it'll be pretty easy. On the park level, we've got these very heavy, actually they're recycled Adirondack chairs, which are super comfy and are not easy to take away. So we'll, if we have to attach them, we will do that. We haven't quite gotten to that conversation, but we'll have that conversation.
Okay, and then we have a question about will there be sound equipment for live music inside and outside the library? And we definitely have sound equipment for inside the library. And am I correct, Jennifer? There's nothing planned right now for outside.
I don't think so, unless Christina knows something that I don't know.
We are not providing sound equipment outside of the library, but inside the library, definitely. We've been working with a great AV IT security team that has put together some excellent sound systems for your community room.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm reading through these right now. I just want to make sure that, and for those of you that I don't answer, we will make sure that we answer you after the presentation. There is a question about backup power requirement. What is required to keep the building active during extended power outages?
We have a connection for a temporary generator, which will remain in place.
Okay, and do any of the smaller meeting rooms have large display screens visible to the 6 to 8 people around the meeting table?
Christina.
Yes, the majority of them do.
What enhancements will be in place for improved accessibility for deaf, hard of hearing population?
Do you want to do that too?
The community room will have a hearing loop.
Okay. And so another question about the loop system. And so that will be in our community room. And have you coordinated with the Memorial Park Conservancy on plantings and coordination of the design with the park? And I can say that, yes, we have met with the Conservancy a few times. And Jennifer, did you want to add anything?
No, I know we did a couple of walkthroughs, and I know that Al in particular, there was
Absolutely.
a lot of conversation that I would.
Okay. And
Absolutely.
Jennifer, what aspect of the design is the design team most excited about?
Oh my gosh. We're excited about the whole thing, honestly. We're just excited to be able to open the building to the park and to open the park to the building. We're excited about really making a kind of a more civic face on Baker Street, where everybody can come in easily and where you can see events going on in the community room. And it's just the activity, as a real kind of center of life in Maplewood. So we're excited about it all.
Okay. And will there be room for the history of Maplewood? And yes, we have a great room that it will be upstairs, our Maplewood room on the second floor, and it's going to be a beautiful space. Okay. I'm just going through. So Jennifer, do you have, I think what I can answer probably the rest of the questions individually, and I can turn it over to you to say if you have any last, anything else to add before we turn it over to Ben Cohen.
No, I think we all are very grateful for the opportunity to do this project, and very much looking forward to seeing it happen. And that's the only sad thing, is that when it happens, then we won't be talking to you anymore. But we look forward to realizing this project and being able to visit Maplewood and just hang out in the library with you.
Okay. And I want to thank, we've had so many meetings with members of the community, and we still will be meeting with the Park Conservancy, with members of the Historic Commission, with others as we go into the building stage of this process. So I want to encourage everyone to keep sending your questions, your comments to me, and we'll do our best to answer it. But we also just want to thank all of you for everybody's part in making this project such an incredible piece of Maplewood, and we're very, very excited. And now I would like to turn it over to Ben Cohen, President of the Maplewood Library Foundation.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, Ben, but we can't see you.
Okay.
Start my video.
Start my video. How about that? Can you see me now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sarah. Friends and neighbors, you've now seen the plans for the beautiful new library that our architects Sage and Coombe have designed for us with your input. It truly is the 21st century library that we have dreamed of for years, and that you, the people of Maplewood, deserve. In a few months, we will start the construction of this new library, which will serve our community for now and for the next few generations, for our children and for our grandchildren. The new library, as you have seen, will be beautiful inside and out. It will be efficient, environmentally friendly, and built to the gold level of LEED certification and possibly more. It will be a fully electric building which uses no fossil fuels whatsoever. It will be flexible, capable of adapting to future needs. It will be spacious, open, and welcoming to all, from toddlers to children, to teens, to adults, and to seniors. And it will be resilient, able to withstand to the greatest extent possible future storms and flooding conditions. Almost all of the mechanical equipment will no longer be in the basement. For the last few years, our all-volunteer Maplewood Memorial Library Foundation has been devoting all of its efforts toward what we call our Writing a New Story capital campaign. Thanks to your generosity, we have raised $1.6 million to date, but our work is not yet done. Our ultimate goal is to bring that figure up to $2 million. We need to do that in order to help pay for the solar panels, the photovoltaics that you saw that are planned for the roof of the new library building. Those solar panels will significantly lower the cost of operating the library over the next several decades. This is a historic moment for our beloved town of Maplewood. So I am appealing to you and to all the people of Maplewood to help us achieve our goal. Thank you so much for all that you have done and for all that we hope you will continue to do. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now the Maplewood Memorial Library Foundation has a short video to present to you.
My name is Sarah Lester, and I'm the director of the Maplewood Library. I've been the director in Maplewood for 10 years. My family and I moved to Maplewood 15 years ago and have loved it ever since. Maplewood is just an incredible community. It's a community of creative, diverse people, and people who are civically engaged, and the library really represents that. It's free and open to all. Over 100,000 items in the collection, incredible resources, programming, and really all of those things reflect the creativity of our town. We have a building that was built in the 1950s, and it was built for that time, and it worked for a number of years and was very well used and well loved, and now it's really worn out. And as we move into the future, we really need a building that's flexible, adaptable, technologically advanced, with all the sustainable features that we really need to have going well into the 21st century.
My name is Jennifer Sage. I am one of the principals and partners of Sage and Coombe Architects. Libraries are really vital institutions in the world right now, and the fact that the library is so beloved to the town of Maplewood is one of the big reasons that, we want to make a great building. We actually thought that the original design of the library was very clever. When it was enlarged in '69, a lot of that charm was lost, and so we wanted to bring back the connection that the library has to the park and really open the building.
It's an inspiring place. It's a place you would want to come to meet your colleagues and meet new friends, a place to come and read and to think. Contemplative space, but it's also a collaborative space.
It's really going to be a place that people go to, and for events and meetings and work and books too.
I think when we started talking about this, people said, we're going to be looking at books anymore, reading books, but yeah, we are, and we're still reading books, but we're doing so much more, and the library is the place for that. Now it's a destination. It's a place to be at, to learn, to have fun, to be with others, and to socialize, and that's what's important.
There are about 20,000 card-carrying library members in Maplewood, and about 1,000 people use the Maplewood Memorial Library every day. And so it's really important that Maplewood, that's such a vibrant community filled with such interesting people, has a really special place for everybody to meet.
The building we have, there's a building and then there's a sense of library. The building itself is failing. When it was redone in the 60s, it was done to the very best that it could be, but times have changed. It's been a good 60 years.
Libraries of the future need to be flexible because we're not really sure what's going to be around the corner, but we do know that as the way we work and play and learn changes, we're going to have an adaptable building, a building that can accommodate all the new things that are ahead.
I have a 1-year-old. I want to be giving this library to her for a great experience and a great future.
It's just going to be a huge asset and a huge jewel to the Maplewood community. I'm hopeful that the younger families will be able to experience the library the same way that I did when my children were younger.
So this only works if we have a partnership. The Township Committee has put up $12 million. The state is coming through with the largest grant we've ever received in the history of Maplewood with $8 million. And we still need a little bit more. And this is why we're asking individuals, families, businesses, foundations, anyone to help join with us in building a library for the 21st century. We need to put this together. We need everyone to feel that they have a sense of ownership of this building. And by making that contribution, you will be making an investment not only in the immediate future, but in the next 50, 60 years.
I'm incredibly proud to live in a community that is so supportive of our library and sees the need for it. And we're now at the point where it's actually happening. And it's really taken everybody in Maplewood to make this possible, and I really can't thank the community enough. So thank you all. Thank you all for coming tonight. Again, I will answer additional questions tomorrow, so please reach out to me if I did not get a chance to answer your question or that we did not answer your question sufficiently today. But we really are excited to be building this library in Maplewood, and we couldn't have done it without each and every one of you. So please visit our website at maplewoodlibrary.org for more information, as well as the website for the Maplewood Library Foundation. We need everybody's help to make this possible. And again, thank you.